Hi everybody, this is Dwayne with Lily's Landing Resort and Marina. I have no idea what date. It is Sunday, the 22nd of November. And we are all the way up in the trophy area. It is about noonish o'clock in the afternoon. And we're going to do the one cast. I brought some 9-foot rods. We typically use these for fishing the pink powerworm under a float, but they also work great for fishing San Juan worms and scuds under a float if I can get them all untangled here. They are really tangled up bad. I've got these rigged up with a scud and a San Juan dropper. There we go, we got one undone. One of them has a loop in the line, so I don't think I'm going to use that one. So I've got these rigged up. Well, I'm just having all kinds of problems here. With a scud to start with, that's the first thing under the float. I'm still untangling apparently. There we go, we're making some progress now. About 9 feet underneath the float. I've got a little weight and then one of them big, we'll call that a half cat scud, and a cerise or pink San Juan worm. What we're going to do is cast that back upstream and let it drag along the bottom here. I did just take a DO reading in the middle up here by the cable, and it read 8.4 parts per million, which is a pretty good reading. And Phil has asked me to take several DO readings down through here just to see where we're standing with table rock turning over. At 8.4 parts per million, if they're not injecting any oxygen, that's a pretty good reading. That means table rock is turned over, and that's kind of what we're trying to figure out. Also, we're getting some readings from College of the Ozarks DO, dissolved oxygen, that were 1 parts per million. So last night. So we're really hoping that maybe their reader sensor is not operating properly. So I'm going to be periodically taking a few readings down through here. So we've got 1 unit of water running, overcast skies, cooler temperatures today, quite the rainstorm last night. It really pounded at my house, and I live about 11 miles from the lake. Got here this morning, the water's all murky and turbid colored, kind of blown out looking. Should be clearer up here, but it's really not so much because table rock's turning over. I did have a guide trip this morning, and we started off dragging night crawlers because they wanted to keep some fish, and couldn't hardly get a bite, and switched over to, good Pete, how are you? Switched over to power bait. And chartreuse and white from Fall Creek. Oh, I just missed a bite. From Fall Creek down to Short Creek worked really well. We caught about 25 fish this morning. So I had a pretty good morning. I just talked to some other guys boating up here. They're staying at the resort, and they said that they're dragging the little crankbaits through here on the bottom and doing really well. Caught a lot of fish this morning doing that, so that would be a great option to fish up here. That's been working pretty well the last couple of days, though. I'm not doing that now just because I had these rods rigged up for possibly the trip this morning. So it's kind of easy. I just heard something buzz. I hope that was not the camera turning off. Oh, it might have been my phone. My phone's over there. There was about 4 boats from the tennis courts through the Narrows fishing. They're all grouped up together. I think they're trying to get out of the wind. The wind is pretty strong today, but the dam is blocking it for us. We can get down there and we're going to get into some pretty heavy wind. It's starting. Oh, I just missed a fish right there. It's starting to pick up right now. Got some people out here wading around the island across from Outlet 2. And there's 15 or so people up and down the bank. So some people are getting out and getting some fishing in. The lake wasn't really that busy this morning. That is bottom. So I will run back up there and see if I can get that off the bottom rather than breaking it off. Of them habitat boulders out here, and I think there's even a stick or two in the water right up in this area. We'll see if we can get that free. Up there it came. Good deal. A little bit of moss on that San Juan. So nothing officially on the one cast, the first cast, the cast that counts. Let me turn this speed down on this trolling motor so I don't throw myself out of the boat. And we will continue fishing. Actually, this is a good time to take a break. I'm going to hit spot lock and take a DO reading. We've got a little meter here. And you put the probe down in the water. You got to take the little protective cap off of it. Good suction on that. We're going to turn it on and drop that down into the water. And then you got to kind of let it stabilize, let all the air bubbles blow out of it and stuff. And once it kind of balances out, you're getting a true reading. It's at 10 and dropping 9.4, 9321. 9089, 88. It's starting to slow down, so it's starting to balance out a little bit. I'm going to take us off the spot lock so that that water's not rushing by. We're at 8.3, 8.2, 8.1. That's really a good reading. And it's kind of balanced out there, so I'm going to take a 8.0. Photographic evidence of across from Outlet 2 of a pretty good reading. I'm going to turn that back off. So I'm just going to stop periodically and take samples of the DO readings as we go down through here. Kind of in a shallow water spot here. I've got that San Juan running about 9 feet deep with a pretty good weight on it, so I might drag bottom quite a bit through here. But kind of the rule is, if you're not on the bottom oh, that might have been a fish. If you're not on the bottom, you're not going to catch fish. The risk you take with too heavy of a weight is just losing a bunch of gear, but you're definitely getting on the bottom. If that bobber indicator starts to hang up, you can wiggle that a little bit and just kind of keep it rolling down the bottom. The other day I had a guide trip, the other morning, a guide trip up here, and we drug the crankbaits, the 762 model in particular. And the French pearl really worked well. But we caught a lot of fish from just about right here down to the boat ramp. And that's about where the guys were I was talking to said they were doing real good dragging the crankbaits today. Kind of going up and over the gravel bar. There's a good 10 people over there looking around, and the outlet 3, the brown trout ladder. A couple of guys fishing. I think that was bottom, but it looked good. There's only about 1.5 foot, maybe 2 foot of visibility in this water right now. It's pretty dingy. That's kind of why I opted for the night crawlers and power bait this morning. Most people wanted to keep fish, and in this dingy water I wanted something that had some smell to it, and with the power bait some brighter colors. The chartreuse and white worked really well. We tried pink and white, orange and white, and that didn't quite work as well. Night crawlers, I think we had 1 bite on night crawler, which I was surprised. I thought that would work a little bit better than it did. Phil is going off to deer camp again with Paul Cruz, the previous state record holder, caught Frank the Tank. So hopefully they'll have some luck this week or these next couple of days. Drift this another 50 yards or so, and I'm going to hit spot lock and take another DO reading right about the big hole, or outlet 4. I keep lifting my line up out of the water. The current keeps grabbing it and putting a bend in it. What that does is that drags your flies up off the bottom, pulls that indicator in closer towards you. And so I just keep popping that line out of the water so that them flies stay down there on the bottom a little bit better. In fly fishing, we call that mending the line to get more of a natural drift. Oh, I lost him. Pooh. Alright, we're going to take another break here. I'm going to hit spot lock. We're just down from outlet number 4. I'm going to do another DO reading, and then we'll get back to fishing again. Okay. Get it turned on. Put it down in the water. And now I'll take us off spot lock again. Okay, we're at 9, 8, 9, 8, 8, 8, 7, 8, 6, 8, 5, 8, 4, 8, 3, starting to really slow down, 8, 2, 8, 1, 8, 0, and we're going to record it at 8.0. That's pretty consistent with the other 2 readings we've taken. And back to fishing. We missed one. I'm going to have to get even. Need to catch one. That breeze is pushing me. Oh, I just missed one again. It's pushing me over towards my flies, my baba. They're quick today. It's kind of like that on the power bait. They would just barely nip it. We missed so many fish on the power bait today. They're just kind of nipping it real quick and getting off of it. I imagine they're doing the same thing with the flies up here. Branson Bell is blowing its horns up there. I guess it's getting ready to go on a lunchtime cruise. Alright, we should start getting out of this deep water here pretty quick and up onto more of a gravel bar. We'll take another dissolved oxygen reading at the boat ramp. My line is really dragging in the water today. bobber was bogging down just a little bit, so I know it was hitting bottom. There's a fish. Got him. I was paying attention that time. And he took the San Juan. By golly, there are fish in this lake. He is way down there. I got that so deep. Pretty fish. He's got some pretty pinks and purples on him. And he liked that San Juan worm. They typically like a San Juan after a pretty good rain. There he is. Woohoo! We did it. We caught one. All right, I'm going to hit spot lock again. We're just above the boat ramp. I'm going to take another dissolved oxygen reading. Got a lot of cord on this. Turn that on, take us off spot lock so we start drifting with it. So it starts off at 16, 17, and it's quickly dropping 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 9-1, 9-0, 8-8, 8-7, 8-6, 8-5, 8-4, 8-3, 8-2, 8-1. So it's really starting to slow down, so everything's starting to balance out now. We're going to 8-0. We'll give it another second or two. 7-9. It's really slowed down, so I'm going to go ahead and record that. Still very consistent with our very first reading. That's good. We like that. Put the cap back on it, and we'll get back to fishing. See if we can find another one that wants a San Juan worm. If I get this tangle, I got a little bit of a tangle there. Where my weight is. How's that happen? There we go. Okay. Here we go. Wow, we never gotten any wind through here like I was expecting. Maybe that wind is... Well, here it comes now. Open my mouth too soon. Boat control in hard wind, it can get really tough and make it difficult for fishing if you're not getting a good drift. If that boat's just spinning around and blowing all over the place, you're not going to get a good drift, and it makes it tougher to catch fish. We like a little bit of wind, a little bit of breeze, put some chop on the water, especially on a bright, sunny, clear water day. But we've got stained water, we've got cloud cover. We don't really need much chop today. Probably hear my remote control beeping a lot. That's me trying to make adjustments for the little bit of breeze we got and trying to stay pretty consistent and even with my bobber as we're floating downstream. So the more you hear it beeping, the more I'm trying to make adjustments for a better drift. And right now there's no wind blowing and I'm getting a nice drift, so you're not hearing as much. Whoa, I just missed one. not making as many adjustments. I run a, this is my boat, fish on. I run a Garmin Force trolling motor, and the remote is kind of nice. As you see, I don't have a foot pedal out here. That's a nice fish. And he took the scud, I think. No, he took the sandalwood also. Wow, that is a really nice fish. You have to have long arms to get that one. You just point the remote in the direction you want it to go, hit a button, and it turns the trolling motor. Then you can hit the go and just make small little adjustments like that without ever having to look at the remote. Oh, I just broke him off. He stole my stuff. All right, that's why I brought a second rod. That's a nice fish, though. That was fun. This rod rigged up the same way, except for it's got a red sandalwood worm on it. And I have a little bit of an issue here. Other than I just tangled everything up throwing it in. On my spool, you can see my line has got a loop in there. If I'm not real careful, that can create a giant problem. Best way to take care of that is just strip your line off. I'm gonna hit go on a trolling motor so they can take that line downstream from us. And just pull that until that loop comes out. If you open that bail up and cast, it could catch that loop and just take a whole gnarly mess of stuff out there. Usually you can get to these. It seems to be way down in there though, so this might take a minute. Now see that loop got caught a little bit and it's getting bigger. So if I'd open that bail and cast, that would make just a nasty mess. And you'd be in the penalty box for, the way I see, 10 minutes or more. There, I got to the loop. It's clear, so I can reel that in. And turn off the prop, reel it back in, and now we're safe to cast. Kept myself out of the penalty box for a little bit doing that. Those loops come from when you close your bail and you don't pull on your line or whatever. Those loops can sometimes get in there. And then on your next cast, if you don't notice it, will really create some havoc. All right, we're down below the boat ramp. Getting ready to go into the chute of a trophy run. This is usually a pretty nice place for fish to hang out. Shallower water, moving a little bit faster. There usually seems to be some fish willing to play through here. We'll see what happens today. Got to pay attention drifting through here. The current wants to push you into the island. So every now and then just kind of check behind you where you're drifting and make sure that you're still in safe water. Alright, that's dragging bottom real good right now. And I finally got the boat settled down where I'm getting a good drift. This sounds like wild turkeys up there. All right, we're going to drift just a little bit farther and call that an episode. I'm going to do just a couple of more DO readings as we go down the lake. And just kind of see where the whole lake is standing at right now. Both fish that I hooked into took the pink or cerise San Juan worm. Nothing on the red so far. Well, we haven't really given it a full chance. All right, everybody, that is the one cast for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. Remember that tip about if there's a loop on your spool of not creating a mess by pulling that line out through the drag. We will try this again tomorrow. Thank you all for watching.